Happy Wednesday afternoon, everybody. I'm Heather Bell, the Director of Membership for the Orange County Chamber of Commerce. I'm joined today by Greg Miller, President of CMIT, an independently owned and operated IT solutions franchise out of Orange County and a chamber member of 10 years. Welcome, Greg.
Hi, Heather. Good to see you.
So good to see you as well. Greg, a 10-year chamber member, that's a long time. But you've been in business for 10 years as well. So it's really important to have that conversation. But let's back it up as to where you were before you decided to go into business. You had a 20-year career with Sony. And like most of us, the 2009 recession hits. You take a leap of faith. Tell us the story about how you started CMIT and what your vision was.
Yeah, so I made the decision to leave the corporate lifestyle. It just didn't feel good anymore. Did it at one time, and it just didn't feel good anymore. And I wanted to put myself in a position to be able to help other businesses and do the right thing, have them think we're doing the right thing without politics and other things getting in the middle of it. And when I started the business, so I had some goals. Number one was serve the community, serve the businesses in the community, provide value to them. And I try to do everything to the maximum. That everything I do, I want to be really good at. So when I started my CMIT business, I wanted to be the best IT service provider out there. It's not okay to be okay. We have to be good. And that's something we talk about with my employees all the time is we're not here to be okay. We're here to excel and make our clients raving fans of what we do for them.
And you do.
If you hear that, that's really good. That makes you sleep really well at night.
So you start your own business and you immediately decide that a chamber membership was a good investment for your business. So tell us, why did you feel that way? What made you think that was where you were going to put your money right away?
Yeah, so I had lived in Orange County for quite a while. I've been here since 1995, but I was working in a corporate headquarters in New Jersey. So I wasn't as connected to the local community as I wanted to be and needed to be. And the Orange County Chamber was a place for me to be able to connect with other business people and just the community in general. That's where you meet people and other business people.
Very true, very true. And it's a quality investment that served you well over the years. Agreed?
Yeah, well, I've paid my dues for 10 years and I'm planning on keep on doing it. So yeah.
Great. And so now we've talked about the chamber membership. We've talked about, how you got here, but what services does CMIT offer? Because, there's so many IT solution businesses out there and some of them are niche, but tell us, what does CMIT offer?
Yeah, so CMIT Solutions is a national franchise, which brings a lot of benefits I wouldn't have if I was on my own. We specialize in providing IT services to businesses. As being part of the CMIT franchise, we have the purchasing power of a Fortune 100 company. So we have really strong partnerships. We negotiate really strong SLAs. We get great pricing from big technology partners like Dell. We have hundreds of technicians. I have my own local team, and we're here to provide the local support. But as anybody who's done any technology knows, eventually you hit something where you're doing things by the book, and it's just not working out. And at that point, what do you do? So with CMIT and literally hundreds of techs out there, all with their own experience, we're able to reach out to the other CMIT techs, explain the situation, explain what we've tried. And usually within an hour, we've got 2 or 3 other techs providing feedback saying, hey, we've encountered that too, and here's how we worked around it. So the client gets their technology working the way they want to as soon as possible, and we're not spending our time trying to just bulldoze through it. I don't have to worry about, should I bill the client for this? I don't want to. Generally don't. So then I eat that cost if we don't solve the problem quickly. But with CMIT, that rarely happens.
Oh, that's what a phenomenal network of knowledge that you have at your fingertips then. That's great. How do you do this safely?
How do we provide our services safely?
Yeah.
So, we are also what's called an MSSP, a managed security service provider. And the starting point for that is we eat our own dog food. So all the things that a business should have to protect its network, protect its data, protect the employees, we do it internally first. And right now, the state of cybersecurity is such that it's impossible to do everything right unless it's a full-time job. There's so much going on, and particularly with ransomware, which is rampant out there. They're pulling new stunts now, such as if you don't pay the ransom. It used to be if you had a good backup, you didn't have to pay the ransom. Now what they do is if you don't pay the ransom, before they encrypt all your data so you can't use it, they upload it and then they leak it out on the dark web. So your business data is now out there for the public to find. Your competitors, your customers, it's not good. So it's really important that we employ multiple layers of security to make sure that your business doesn't get ransomware. And I'm really, knock on wood, I'm going to jinx myself here, but for all of our clients that utilize the tools that we recommend, we haven't had a single ransomware event in over 6 years. Where we do the right things, and there's no guarantees, but if you follow the formula, then we have good success.
Now, that's what you call patch management?
So it starts with patch management. So Microsoft is always pushing out updates for Windows 10 for the server software, but so is Java, so is Adobe, Flash, all these things. And people tend to see pop-ups that say Java wants to update, and you have to click on that. They're sending out an update because somebody found a way to exploit Java in this example, and that's how ransomware gets its start. Most people are afraid to click on that pop-up because they've heard horror stories about pop-ups can do bad stuff. Everybody's seen it. What we do, we do apply those updates automatically behind the scenes. You don't see the pop-ups anymore. So we really coach our clients that if you see a pop-up, then you need to be concerned, because we're doing everything we can to make those pop-ups go away. And most patches apply, but sometimes they don't for a variety of reasons. And how do you know? So we get alerts. If a patch tries to apply but doesn't, for whatever reason, we get an alert, and that means my team can jump in and figure it out and get that patch applied. Otherwise, you don't get that patch, you are vulnerable. The bad guys are looking for missing patches in order to get a toehold on your business network. That's the beginning.
I got to tell you, you and your team are just phenomenal. You really rose to the occasion. The team rose to the occasion for hundreds, thousands of clients to assist us, as all of a sudden we had to hit that slam button of switching from working from the office to working from home, and that can't be very secure for that many people at one time. Tell us about server management and how are you securing servers when people, I'm working from my own personal laptop, but I have to remote into the chamber server. So how are we making sure that we are all secure? Your team is just, I can't say enough things about how great they are. And just the first time that I had to dial in and I had an issue with my remote login, and they were right there. Like, I didn't know what a Google Authenticator was and what am I putting on my phone, and they just tell us about it, Greg.
Yeah, so that's the type of service we want to provide, and I staff our team so that I hear horror stories about people with other IT service providers. They make a call and nobody calls back, and maybe it's 2 weeks later. We answer the phone live most of the time. If we don't, then it's usually within 30 minutes we're getting back to you. So, there are different ways to connect to the Office network, and some are not secure at all. Some are very secure. You mentioned Google Authenticator, which is a part of multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication. Everybody's heard stories about passwords being hacked. Passwords are really tough to do well. So adding a second layer of authentication, which changes every time you log in, is what was going to protect the Office network from other people trying to get in, even if they know your password. So, really there's three secure ways to have a remote computer access an Office network. Our concern is with home computers that aren't managed. So before I talk about all the tools that we use to secure the network, and it starts with the patch management, but it includes antivirus, it includes things like DNS filtering and SIMSOC, multiple things. You don't have that on your home computer. And if your home computer gets ransomware and you connect to the Office network, that Office network now has ransomware.
Right.
So we work with three different ways to provide secure ways for you to remote into the Office where we don't have to worry about what your computer is going to do to the network.
That's great. And, businesses are working through challenges for the last 10 weeks and working from home. And again, your team has just been so instrumental helping the chamber. I'm sure your other clients feel the same way. How has that impacted CMIT? Have you felt anything internally in your team?
The biggest impact on us is I made the decision on March 13th, the day we went into the national health emergency, that we needed to restrict on-site visits to our clients to emergencies. I didn't want to have one of my employees go to an office to change a mouse out and end up getting, even if they just get sick, we have to assume that they have COVID-19 and now they're out for 2 weeks. And
Right.
that impacts our ability to respond to emergencies. So we stopped most hardware sales. We stopped most projects that involved on-site work. But then we spent a lot of time making sure all of our clients that needed remote access, we were already very well set. It was mostly a matter of setting up user accounts to use the tools we already had in place. The other big thing was some of our clients reached out to us, said, we're used to being in the office where we can just talk with each other. We can go into a conference room and talk, make decisions, and now everybody's scattered and we can't see each other anymore. And communication is really hard. And anybody who's run a business or been in business knows usually the number one problem businesses have is communication. And that just got worse. So we've been working with our clients who reach out to us because people started saying, my inbox is unmanageable now because everybody's trying to communicate through email. Well, there's really good tools to facilitate communication. In my office, we use an app called Slack, but there's also Microsoft Teams, and you can have these apps on your phone, your tablet, your computer, your laptop, and that conversation can happen directly with other people about specific things. Where, with texting, it's just a conversation to one other person, and you might be communicating about a dozen things, and it's hard to go back and see the trail of communication. In Slack and Teams, it's organized by what's called a channel. For us, we have a channel for each of our clients. So if the Orange County Chamber calls and has a problem, we communicate as a team in that channel. And then if we need to go back and check the history on it, all we have to do is pull up that channel.
That's a great alternative to the Zoom as well. you hit the nail on the head. I mean, there are a lot of pros and cons to the working from home and the remote working. I know for sure there's less commuting comes less pollution. I know Pepsi, for instance, in Westchester has decided to go to more of a remote solution. They found that the productivity over the last 10 weeks has been outstanding, and they're actually going to give a lot of their employees raises and have them stay home and work in a more remote setting, which is great, but it will severely impact the dynamics. The mental impact is going to be tremendous when we've worked so hard to overcome communication issues in the workplace. But even more so with the email, I remember being in a situation where we'd be like, I'm right in the next office, or I'm right in the next cube. Why are you sending me an email? Come talk to me.
Mhm.
So that's got to be impacting the server capacities too, right?
Well, using an app like Slack or Teams, that information stored in the cloud. So the Office server really isn't impacted by that.
That's
Um,
great.
what does get taxed is the internet connection. So if you have a dozen people all connected remotely to the Office network, the firewall has to manage that traffic, and it's chewing up internet bandwidth. So if you already had a decent internet bandwidth, you're probably not noticing it, but people that were maybe marginal on their internet speed might have to do an upgrade. Luckily, lately the ISPs have been upgrading. If you just call and ask about what options there are, they'll say, we'll upgrade you to 100 megabits per second and lower your bill. So it's a good time to go through this, because a lot of people are on slower speeds and can get onto a much faster speed and for the same or less money.
Thanks for the tip. I'll be making that phone call.
Yeah.
I'm sure parents will appreciate that with everybody being home too.
Make a calendar event every year, call the ISP and just ask what the deals are that day, and usually you come out in pretty good shape.
Will do. So, yeah, Greg, what's the recipe for success after 10 years?
Oh boy, if I had that, I could make a lot of money doing something else. I think it comes back to work hard, do the right thing for the clients, treat your employees well. That's if you need an easy formula, I think that's it.
All right. Now, you work with our board of directors president. The organization is Inspire. Would you like to share with us what you do with Inspire?
Yeah, so we manage their network. They have a lot of servers, a lot of PCs, and so what we do really well is keep things running. We don't have servers go down. If a server does go down for some reason, it's really rare. But even if it's Sunday morning at 2 a.m., I get a phone call, or my team gets a phone call. We deal with it. You come in on Monday, server's up. But also, we're taking care of the cybersecurity with regulated companies. There's a lot to how to keep that organization secure and in compliance with HIPAA or SEC or whoever it may be. We're taking care of that part, and the business client doesn't have to worry about it, because we're walking them through it and doing the heavy lifting on that.
And am I correct in saying that you're also community partners with Inspire?
I don't know what that means. A community partner.
I thought you did some community give back with them as well.
Well, we do help out where we can, so we're always contributing to their events and playing a role there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I absolutely, it's important for me to be a good community citizen. We're here, we're part of the community, and it's important to take care of the community. I'm a member of Rotary, and do a number of things.
Oh, me too.
All right.
Listen, Greg, it was great chatting with you, and thanks for all that insight. I'm definitely going to call my service provider and get an evaluation done. I appreciate your patronage of the Chamber for the last 10 years and all that you do, not just for the Chamber, but for the members as well, and for the community. And if anybody's interested in contacting Greg, getting an evaluation of your business, it's cmitsolutions.com/OCNY. And I would highly recommend you have that conversation with him and his team. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
And just to remind all of our members, we have our coffee break starting at 3 today. Since I was here and I'm live, I will now be going into the application and approving anybody who has registered. So you had a couple extra minutes. We also have our coffee break next week at 9. So some of the members said, hey, we can't make it at 3 all the time. So we've changed the times. Some weeks they're at 9, sometimes they're at noon, some weeks they're at 3. They're kind of going to follow that pattern, noon, 12, 3. Breakfast is tomorrow at 10. We're going to have Mim Simp talking about our reopening plans for business post-COVID. That'll be a great breakfast. And then Monday, we have Meet the Member with Mike from Stronger You. And again, on Wednesday, we have John from Crestcom. So thank you for joining us today. Have a great day and stay safe.